edition of Fox Sports.
NASCAR on Fox is back. And our first sight for the season, the North Carolina Speedway, which today plays host to the NASCAR Busch Series, presented by Subway. 200 miles the distance around this D-shaped oval. 43 cars to start, 197 laps, a chilly day. And here are the standings leaving Daytona, but many of these drivers, including those at the top, will only run partial seasons in the NASCAR Busch Series. So will it be the veterans or the young guns at the top when the dust settles in November? We're set to go racing. Let's go trackside, and Matt Yoakum.
Mike, rookie Shane Meal continues to turn heads and impress. In qualifying on Friday, he put his car on the outside pole, but on lap 2, he put it in the wall. So now this 21-year-old will have to race like a veteran, starting his backup car at the back of the field, showing plenty of composure and patience. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, 37-year-old Jack Sprague has some unfinished business in this series. He comes in here as a 3-time Truck Series champion, but he has never won in the NASCAR Busch Series. Last week, he finished 7th. Today, he starts 7th. Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Steve, it was 57 years ago this month that the Marines fought for our freedom in the Battle of Iwo Jima. And today, Bobby Hamilton Jr. will battle for victory in the Team Marines car. And look at this. It is a moving monument to those who have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice their lives for our independence. No better tribute than to find himself in victory lane. Dick?
This racetrack is exceptionally abrasive. Granite and marble stones stick up from the asphalt bindery, and they tear at the tires. The driver who this afternoon can keep his tires freshest the longest stands the best chance to win.
We're set to go at the Rock. Let's go trackside for today's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the United States Marines from Recruiting Station in Raleigh, North Carolina, are dressed in vintage World War II uniforms commemorating the 57th anniversary of the flag raising at Iwo Jima. They present today's colors. Please remain standing as Aubrey Hinkle from Roberdale Baptist Church delivers today's invocation.
Let's pray. Dear Father, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today for a day of entertainment. And God, I pray that maybe you just clear the clouds up a little bit and send a little more sun. But most of all, I pray for the safety of these drivers. I pray for the pit crews and for the event staff and the spectators, God, that you would put your hand of protection upon all of them and just keep us safe throughout this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome from Thomasville, North Carolina, Ms. Darby Howell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Thank you, Darby Howell. And now, for the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Sound like Bradshaw.
We're set to go racing at the Rock. It's been a long winter for NASCAR on Fox, and are we glad to be back with you. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the North Carolina Speedway, this 1 mile oval. Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and 3-time Winston Cup champ Darrell Waltrip. And Darrell, we've got some Winston Cup regulars. We've got some savvy veterans and a lot of new young guns in this race. How's it going to shake out?
Yeah, and I'll ask you again, was that Bradshaw said that?
No.
Now, you know, the more things change, the more they seem to stay the same. I thought Jeff Green went to the Busch or to the Winston Cup Series, and he's on the pole here today. What's up with that?
I don't know, but the guy I like, man starting third, Greg Biffle in that Roush car. He's been fast ever since he unloaded. He was fastest in practice, but Greg, don't overdrive that race car. This place will bite you.
They're getting set to roll off. There's a look at Greg Biffle. And Jeff Green, who starts from the pole. And we'll be back to bring you all the action of NASCAR Busch Series racing from the Rock on Fox.
Fox tomorrow. Saddle up for the rootinest, tootinest night of comedy on TV.
We're back live at Rockingham, North Carolina, the second race of the NASCAR Busch Series, and you'll be enjoying it on Fox. As we come to you from the Hollywood Hotel, we go to where the races are. We are trackside along with Jeff Hammond. I'm Chris Myers, and glad to be watching the race along with you. And among the rookies that we'll be seeing in the Busch Series, Kerry Earnhardt, and Terry Bradshaw has something to do with him and his car.
Yeah, he sure does, and I got a chance to talk to Terry earlier this morning. He was down in the garage area. Believe it or not, he's here to cheer Kerry Earnhardt on and to learn about stock car racing. Can you believe that? He wants to learn.
Terry wants to learn. That is an upset. Let's go back upstairs. Earnhardt, by the way, starting 37. Gentlemen?
Let's have a look at the entire starting lineup for today's 200-miler here at the Rock. Jeff Green, the pole sitter. Shane Meal wrecked on his second lap of qualifying. He'll have to go to the tail of the field, followed by a whole bunch of those, what do we call them, cagey veterans.
Cagey veterans.
Brian Vickers in the 40 car. He'll be the youngest driver in today's field at 18 years old.
A couple of rookies there.
Joy back there, too, and Ricky Hendrick. He's a young guy.
Now, several drivers did make engine changes, among them Tim Sauter, Kelly Denton, Larry Foyt, so they'll have to start at the tail end of the field along with Shane Meal.
It's what you call an unapproved engine change. In Busch Grand National Racing, if you change the engine for a reason, maybe it's not performing like you'd like, you can change it, but you have to start the race at the rear of the field.
So this is the way they qualified. On back through the provisional starters from 37th on back, including these drivers. Only 2 drivers had to go home, Cam Strader from the Dash Series and West Coaster Lance Hooper. Matt Yoakum?
Mike, open as Casey Kane makes his Busch Series debut today in Rockingham. His biggest thing that they're working on, though, pit stops. He's never had to pit before. He will have the core group from Ricky Rudd's Winston Cup team to go over the wall, but all week long they practiced with Cohen's in the parking lot, trying to simulate going around cars, exiting and entering his pit stall just to get a little more practice for today's race. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, the 60 team, Greg Biffle and crew chief Randy Goss, they'll try to practice patience. Randy Goss said this morning we may be overconfident, but we feel like we are the guys to beat. Dick Berggren.
Tire management will be a huge story this afternoon. The Busch Series guys have got 3 sets of brand new tires, plus the tires they've got on the car right now. Every time they fire new tires at the car, it's going to be a brand new race car. It'll be much, much faster. Jeannie.
Well, Dick, we've all been there before. You turn the key and the engine won't turn over. That's kind of what happened to Larry Foyt this morning. 58 minutes from hood pin to hood pin. They got the engine changed, and they are pleased to be in this race, but they have their work cut out for them.
There's a look at Foyt carrying AJ's famous number 14. And Shane Meal will drop on the next pace lap to the back of the field because he had to go to a backup car. Why? His first qualifying lap was second fastest, but here's his second.
Ran out of room coming off turn 2, DW. Got loose, overcorrected, and hits that inside wall hard. Had to go to a backup.
Yeah, that old dreaded turn 2, got another one, and he just got behind on his steering there and couldn't catch up.
One more lap behind the Pontiac safety car, and we'll go racing as the teams that went to backup cars and the teams that changed engines
Here's
move
the
to back of
98
field.
car, Casey Kane, that we talked about a while ago. It has Ricky Rudd's pit crew pitting him. The reason being, it is a Robert Yates racing car. Robert Yates owns this car, continuing to try to develop new driving talent, new crew members, new everything in a smaller division like Busch Grand National.
Casey Kane is 20 years old. Both of Robert's Winston Cup drivers are in their 40s. So
there's a method to his madness.
I'd say he's looking in the other direction.
The 43 cars that'll start today's race will travel 197 laps, and they'll get about 60 to 70 laps on those tires.
Yeah, normally on Pit Window, we'll show you fuel. Here, they can go about 90 to 100 laps on fuel, but tires is the issue. Dick Berggren talked about it. This racetrack is so abrasive, it's like 80 grit sandpaper. It just takes the grip of the tires away, and these cars will start sliding around 20 laps into a run.
Yeah, this place is just... It's hard for a driver to understand what's going to happen to his car when he gets about 40 laps on it.
Man, I've been waiting 7 months for this. Okay, pull them belts tight.
Tighten them
Let's
up,
go.
boys. Here we go. We're coming down to take that green flag. These guys are anxious, and there goes Jeff Green. Down in the first turn he goes. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Greg Biffle in that 60 car. He wants to lead early here. Jumps to the inside there. Gets behind Jeff Green.
This field got quite strung out on the start.
Well, the track should be in pretty good shape. They blew some of the sand off of it. Ooh, they're 3 wide already up here and coming off turn 4. That's ugly. And that's uncalled for.
Too early. Way too early.
Way too early. Man, I'm glad I'm up here. A 3-wide racing here is fun to watch. Terrible to be a part of. Man, these guys are going everywhere. They're all over the racetrack. We hadn't run but 1 lap.
Johnny Sauter looking back at Matt Kenseth there at 7th place.
One thing about it, we don't have to worry about out of bounds here. But you don't want to be out of bounds inside below that white line here.
No. There's markers here for out of bounds. Well, there's actually as much moving around as there is and as much racing is going on. Everybody's doing a real good job of staying off of each other right now.
15th place, rookie Scott Briggs moves up ahead of Lyndon Amick. So many changes in the Busch Series this year.
It's hard not to call that 10 car Jeff Green. That's really hard. Scott Riggs, of course, coming from the Truck Series. But he was fast in practice yesterday.
Yes,
and he's starting already, DW, up there halfway up that racetrack. That's the great thing about Rockingham. There is no preferred groove. Anywhere your car will work or feels good.
Normally you want to try to run the bottom as much as you can, but, you know, when you're trying to pass cars, you can go the outside. And obviously, looking at that 10 car, he can go right around them on the outside. He was fast in practice, and he's picking up where he left off yesterday afternoon in happy hour.
Lyndon Amick's view of that battle as he pulls up on Kenny Wallace.
I think the thing with Riggs is they're going to have to really work hard on controlling. He wants to go fast. He's a hard driver, got a lot of talent.
His teammate Jason Keller just behind him, 57. As they work on Tony Raines for 8th place.
And you know, Larry, when you step into a car like that, there's big shoes to fill. Jeff Green did he did a lot of good things in that car, and that's a great team. And I'm sure this young man is feeling the pressure of having to perform.
I guarantee he's feeling the pressure, but he's used to pressure. I mean, he was right there in the thick of that championship battle in the Truck Series last year.
Michael Waltrip, 99, under pressure as you ride with Hank Parker Jr.
Nice and quiet up in the front. Not much happening up here. Jeff Green's got a little lead over a Biffle. They head off into turn 1.
Pulled out to, I don't know, about 5/10 of a second of a lead.
Steve Burns.
And guys, I can tell you why it is. There isn't a battle because crew chief Randy Goss on the 60 car is telling Greg Biffle not to go for the lead. He's telling him instead, race the racetrack and be patient for now.
Well, you got to realize something. The notes and everything they have for that car are handed down from Mark Martin. And who dominated this racetrack any more than Mark Martin has through the years, particularly in a Busch car? So I'm sure they've got the right setup, and all he's got to do is bide his time, take care of his car.
What do we call this place on some of those Busch telecasts, Larry? Markingham.
Markingham. Several of the Busch tracks.
And this car looks the very same. Mark was always right down on that white line. Didn't matter what everybody else did. You know, it wasn't up until they came with the tire we got this last year, actually came with this tire, that we started to see people use that high line successfully. But this harder tire allows them to get up there a little higher.
Don't have that grip that you need when to run around the bottoms. You have to move it around. Look at Ricky Hendrick in this 5 car at the bottom, right around the bottom of the racetrack. He's looking mighty racy here early.
Moves inside of Amick, and that's for 14. And now battles with Murray.
They battled, they bumped.
I like that. 8 tires are better than 4. Keep going, Ricky. Well, I like that up here. Now, if I was on the outside and that happened, I wouldn't like that. Oh, baby.
Ashton Lewis following Michael Waltrip on the outside.
Mikey's backing up. I don't think his car not handling very good right now. He might get up on the... Yeah, looks like he's going to move up. He's been right around the bottom. I think he's going to move up. That'll help him some, maybe.
This is a battle for 18th right here.
He and Hank Parker been going at it pretty hard there for several laps, side by side.
Lewis, then Chad Little, and then unsponsored 74.
Folks, the thing about this racetrack is this, after a while, they're going to get strung out and they're going to be all over the place. And it's hard to race side by side here very long because of the lack of grip.
And this is where it gets interesting right here. Leader already 12 laps into the race. He's already starting to lap cars. This is where you really have to be smooth with your race car. Take care of that car. Take care of those tires.
So Jeff Green leads Greg Biffle by half a second. Mike McLaughlin third. Jimmy Spencer, Jack Sprague are your top 5. And we'll be back with the NASCAR Busch Series on Fox after this.
The Busch 200, presented by Subway on Fox, is brought to you by Subway. Subway runs on fresh-made taste. Subway, eat fresh. By the American Plastics Council. Plastics make it possible. By AT&T Long Distance. Let your long distance be unlimited. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper.
Welcome back to Rockingham, where we're under caution in the 1-866-RBCTerm.com, presented by RBC Insurance 200. Josh Richardson making his 3rd career start is on pit road. He caused the caution, as you watch from our Marine Corps copter cam. Here's what happened.
I don't think there was any contact. Back in there, I think he just raced in under that car beside him. I can't see who that is, but probably turned it down trying to keep him getting in the car on the outside, and just the back end came out and whoop. Yeah, see, he gets down under that car, and actually that car probably pulled the back end of the car. The outside car probably pulled the back of his car around just a tad, got loose, spun the bad boy out.
Now, rookie Daniel Johnson following that.
He says, I think I can get a lap back.
That's what he was trying to do right there, because that's the leaders right in front of him. They just had lapped it, and he's going to try to get back around and get his lap back. It didn't work out.
Didn't work out for him. Now he's 2 laps down.
As that happened, Mike Harmon was on pit road with the hood up and is still there as some of the cars make pit stops under this, the first caution flag of the day. More NASCAR on Fox in a moment. They come to the green flag for the restart after 20 laps complete. And Jeff Green hauls them off turn 2 once again with Greg Biffle in tow.
And Darrell, if this had been the Winston Cup race tomorrow on Fox, everybody would have been on pit road getting 4 fresh tires. But as Dick Berggren alluded to in the opening, these teams only have 3 sets of tires by Busch International rules that they can change under caution.
Yeah, and I tell you, I like that rule. You see what it does? Keeps everybody on the racetrack. And I think it's a good rule, and I think Winston Cup ought to ration out how many tires you can use, because how many tires are you going to mount up for tomorrow's race?
At least a dozen sets, maybe 14.
14 sets of tires to run 400 miles. Figure that out, folks, at $1,800 a set.
Daniel Johnson's problems continue. He's been black flagged for making an improper pass on the restart.
Which means he passed on the wrong side, all passing to the right as you come down on a restart. So he must have ducked down on the left side there and passed somebody and back on pit lane.
Until you cross the start-finish line.
Got to cross start-finish line. Had a little action in the pits. A couple cars did elect to come in, top up with fuel. Most of them did. And here's the 92 car. Whoa, the catch can didn't come out. And catch can man, he finally got it pulled out of there, but it took him with it.
That's Andy Houston. Of course, this is the car that Jimmy Johnson drove last year before moving to the Winston Cup ride with Hendrick and Jeff Gordon.
It's Herzog's car.
4-car breakaway. Right at the front, Jeff Green, Greg Biffle, Mike McLaughlin, and Jimmy Spencer.
The man that never forgets in that one car, Jimmy Spencer. He's lurking back here in fourth. I talked to Jimmy this morning. We got a little bit of crawling on the back straightaway right here. 92, caution is on the speedway. It's Andy Houston in the 92 car.
32, Dan Pardis was either involved or really swerved down low to miss that. And stay out of the way. So second caution comes quickly here.
Yeah, they're going to need some of that. Excedrin. That's Mr. Headache's car right there.
Still a little early. I know they're wanting tires, but 24 laps tires.
Can't come in right now. Sorry, guys. A driver is screaming, I need to come in, I need to come in, and the crew chief is saying,
no, not yet. A few more laps. Everything will be okay. Please.
Let's have a look over on the backstretch and see what brought out this second caution.
Whoa, little help there.
Yeah. From Christian Elder in the 38 car.
38
orange car.
Guy must have been, I guess 92 must have been in his way.
Well, 92 looked pretty loose before Christian got there. Hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
You can see they were way behind this pack right here, so something was going on.
Yeah,
got a little bit behind.
92 had been in the pit, so he was at the back of the field. Sometime you make a pit stop and you come back out and you pick all that trash up on your tires that we've seen. The car doesn't drive well. You could just spun it out. How about it, Dick?
Well, they're just going to change the right side tires on this car. 4 tires actually going to change, and that's going to be one of the 3 sets that they're allowed to run today. Rambo Liberati has called for a 4-tire change. Houston is on his way out.
Second caution flag of the day. They come quickly here at the Rock. NASCAR on Fox continues.
The Busch 200, presented by Subway on Fox, is brought to you by Subway. Subway runs on fresh-made taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Tomorrow at 12:30, the Subway 400 on Fox. We're getting set for the restart. Mike Harmon has taken his car to the garage area. No change up front. Jeff Green, Greg Biffle, Mike McLaughlin, Jimmy Spencer, and Jack Sprague. Green flag.
Here we go racing again, and you got to sometimes be careful on these restarts because you pick a lot of trash up on those tires, hot tires, and you got to kind of get them cleaned up real good, or you get a false read and think you got a flat tire.
Good clean restart, and this time Sprague gets away from the pack with the 4 leaders. Just where we left off last restart with number 2 Sauter and 17 Biffle side by side.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. They're working the high side of the racetrack.
I said Biffle. It's Kenseth. Of course it's Kenseth.
Biffle is kind of like his teammate.
I'm a season or 2 behind right there.
Well, he was in a Chevrolet last year, and he's in a Ford this year. So.
Still outside. There's a hole behind him up high if you need it.
That is Sauter's spotter. As Jason Keller goes by.
That's actually Mike Dillon who's doing the spot.
Right they clear all around, bud.
Sauter in the clear as Keller.
You know, I believe if I had to pick a guy that could win the championship this year, it'd be Keller. Because he's been very consistent, finished second the last couple of years. This guy would be a championship contender, I'd say.
Stacy Copton, 59, moving up. Now that's Bill Hoff, a lapped car that he's passing.
It's a battle for 21st on back.
Look at Shane Meal right in the middle of that. He just about got squeezed right through there.
And nowhere to go. There's still 3 wide down in the middle of 3 and 4. Casey Mears and Nate Boat right there. Casey Mears in the 66.
And trust me, folks, he didn't mean to do that. You just get all that wind around those cars, and you just kind of, they suck each other, you suck together like that.
And the car's sliding around anyhow because they got 30 laps on their tires.
You're trying to control it, but it's just hard to do sometimes.
As Meal tried to rein it in, Jamie McMurray gave a little bump and run there. And
well, that's why you try not to get yourself in those kind of positions, because you know what can happen if you've been there a few times.
See, Jamie McMurray, the 27 car, the reason he's past Snell in the car, he's so fast, he was on pit road. This just shows you how much better fresh tires are versus 30-lap tires.
I think Shane Mills trying to be careful. You know, he had trouble qualifying, so I think he's trying to be careful.
Dash. Keep coming. He's going to give up on you. Just keep coming.
There is Steve Mills, Shane's dad, spotted.
Good job. Drive it straight, bud. We're doing fine.
Matt?
DW, did your father Leroy ever spot for you when you were racing?
No, he never did, man.
But he told you how to drive, didn't he?
He always told me how to drive, but he told me what I was doing wrong, but usually it was after the fact.
Well, that's exactly what Shane Mills' father, Steve, is doing today. He's spotting for him, coaching him around this racetrack, but also telling him to stay patient, just keep that car in your line, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's taking it very easy on the tires, and pretty remarkable run for a young man who had never even been on this racetrack until yesterday.
Now, here's the guy that told me how to drive all the time, Hamlin.
Now, be easy now, Darrell. But what I was going to say, I went over and talked to Jerry Cannon, which is Mills' crew chief, and I was asking him, I said, how difficult is it when you got the son driving and you got the daddy trying to coach you from upstairs? He said, Steve, surprised how calm Steve is, and especially how calm Shane Mills is. He said he has got a bright future because he has no fear, but he's got all the patience. He listens very well. Even when they had the problem yesterday during qualifying, he came in and he said, I realize now I'm not at Daytona. I know where the ragged edge is after the car got away from it on the second lap of qualifying. Young man's got a lot of talent and a lot of support.
And we'll show you a little bit of bumping right here. And again, this was not intentional. Randy LaJoie in the 7 car, Johnny Sauter in the 2. This is coming up off the corner. Again, that car's sliding, the 7 sliding, and it just gets up into the 2 car. Nothing intentional.
That's what you always worry about when you're on the outside. Is that guy going to give me room off this corner? Because the cars both want to go all the way out to the wall. That's Randy LaJoie's got to know that guy's there and hold that car down. That's kind of a spotter thing, you know. You depend on the spotter to say he's there, and you got to give him room.
Meanwhile, back up front,
Little has changed. Jeff Green, Greg Biffle, Mike McLaughlin, there they are, the front 3. Jimmy Spencer, but the new 5th place car is Jason Keller. The new 4th place car is Jason Keller. He's past Spencer. For more on Jimmy Spencer, Dick Berger.
Now, Spencer's a little bit tight on entry, Mike. He said on the radio that he's trying to save his tires. The car is real good coming off the corners, but now he's starting to drop back. He had held right up in the front. Car is sliding back as the tires begin to wear out. To Steve.
Well, Dick, Jack Sprague has been holding his position. Qualified 7th, running about their most early in the race. This morning, the team changed front sway bar, both front springs, caster on the left side, camber on the right, both rear springs, a left front shock, and the toe out.
Wow. They didn't have much left. Why don't you just say they changed everything but the steering wheel?
Randy LaJoie in the 7. 24 is Jack Sprague as you ride with Johnny Sauter. LaJoie is going to make the pass.
He's got that down. He's inside, working real good down low. He's coming up under those guys and kind of doing a slide job on them. A while ago, he almost slid into Sauter, but that time he made the pretty good pass.
You know, we heard him talk about changing the toe out, and we've got another animation that we want to show you at home, and it's about toe out. And what toe out is, it's the differential between the measurement of the front tires and the rear. And normally we'll run the right front toed out about 1/8 of an inch. That just gives it stability getting in the corner, and how you adjust that is the tie rod right there. And here's how you do it. You can either lengthen it or shorten it, and that gets your toe out back. And again, most teams will run that right front toed out about 1/8 of an inch. In other words, the front of the front tires will be about 1/8 of an inch wider than the rear. Stability driving in the corner.
Scott Riggs up toward the fence while battling Jack Sprague, and they're going to save it. Both of them.
He got it. Inside. We okay. You okay.
That is Rick's spotter.
Still in there.
Looks like they're going to get it. Looks like they're going to be okay. Both of them are continuing on. They're up to speed. A little harm, but no foul.
Just took them a little while to gather back up there.
Or maybe it was a little foul and some harm. It's hard to tell.
They get excited up on that roof.
They do. Well, when you see your car sliding for the fence, you get excited.
Here's another look, Darrell.
Here we go, down in the corner. 10 car underneath Jack Sprague there. Bam, they hit before they ever get there.
They're still on the straightaway.
I think he was trying to make, I think Riggs was trying to make a little room for himself to get down in that corner, but cars get loose getting into turn 1 like that. They'll get loose just before they get to that corner. Man, if I'm telling you, Sprague saved Riggs. Sprague hadn't been there, Riggs is out of here.
From Kenny Wallace's car.
Here they come. They're coming down the front straightaway. Plenty of separation here. Get down to the corner. Boom. Got to have some room to get in there, bud. You're not going to give it to me? I'll just knock you out of my way.
Battle for second right here. Mike McLaughlin in that 18 car underneath Greg Biffle.
The guy back, this guy back here is the guy that's on the move, though. That 57 car.
Jason Keller.
Jason Keller looks really good, guys.
Talked to Jason earlier this week, and he says he's ready to step up to the team leadership role. You know, he was Jeff Green's teammate the last couple of years there, but now he is ready. Scott Riggs will be his protege, and Keller's ready to run for the championship.
And 17's on pit lane here. That's pretty early, 47 laps. That's not scheduled.
And, you know, he'll go back out there, and as we've seen, he'll be much faster. But the downside of pitting this early, as long as pit road is, maintaining 35 miles an hour plus the pit stop, if a caution comes out, you're going to probably be minimum 2 laps down. That's the downside of pitting early.
An 18-second stop for the 17 of Matt Kenseth. 48 laps complete here at Rockingham. Tomorrow, our NASCAR coverage continues across the Fox networks, beginning with the show that gets you ready for race day. NASCAR this morning on the net. Then exciting Winston Cup action with the Subway 400 on Fox. And you'll get a full wrap-up of the whole day's activities as you go all access all day with Kenny Wallace on NASCAR Victory Lane on Fox Sports Net at 9 p.m. Presented by Stacker 2. It's all on the Fox networks, your home for NASCAR. Today at Rockingham, North Carolina, 55 laps complete in the NASCAR Busch Series presented by Subway. You see Jeff Green, number 21, your leader. Jason Keller, Mike McLaughlin. And here's that battle.
This was a pass for second a few laps ago. Jason Keller in the 57 underneath Mike McLaughlin, 18 car. Matt Yoakum, what's Jason Keller doing there?
Well, he just passed the 18 car, Larry, and Mike McLaughlin. McLaughlin came on the radio and said, I'm a little bit loose. His spotter told him, just let him go. We've got plenty of race left, and you are very good, especially on longer runs. But one thing to keep in mind, Larry, if you stopped by this 18 shop back in January, you would have thought they changed manufacturers, because except for this car that they are racing today, they cut all the bodies off their race cars for one reason, because they felt like this was the best car they had last year. They tried to duplicate it. They feel like they may have, but this is the prime car in their stable, and they're hoping for a good run today.
Darrell, that's the way it should be done. 50, 60 laps on tires. If a car catches you, he's faster. Don't race him side by side and watch those cars in front of you get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, all they'll do is, you know, if you get to racing somebody like that on these old tires, you just wreck each other.
There's Greg Biffle, who's been passed for 4th place by Jimmy Spencer.
And that's where a spotter and a driver, you know, they say, hey, he's faster than you are, let him go.
Jimmy Spencer in that one car, this is the same. He won 3 Busch Grand National races last year. This is the car that he won Dover. And I want to give a call to his team, because little do people realize this James Finch team is the same team that fielded the car for Jeffrey Bodine last week in the Daytona 500 that finished 3rd.
I believe that Spencer driving this Busch car and winning 3 races last year is what perpetuated his move to another team, because I believe Spencer said, I'm a winner, and I want to get in I want to try it somewhere else.
I believe my man Greg Biffle in that 60 car. What's happening, I believe, he goes in the corner and he gets a push right here in the middle of the corner. Then when the front end finally bites, the rear end wants to come around, as we see Randy LaJoy in that 7 car passing. This is a battle for 5th.
Yeah, but if they can fix that, if his car is too tight right there in the center, a little wedge out, a little air pressure, a little track bar, something like that, that car could be really fast at the end of the day.
Tight end loose off. Let's fix the tight first.
That's right.
Steve?
Well, Darrell, you're exactly right. Crew Chief Randy Goss talking to Greg Biffle. They're discussing whether or not to make an air pressure adjustment or pull out a spring rubber.
LaJoy moving inside the lapped car of Robbie Faggart.
LaJoy's made a pretty good move. I mean, he's been coming up through there, and his car's working really well. Everybody's hollering for a caution about now, I'm sure. 62 laps would be perfect timing.
Let's move back to 12th to 13th. Michael Waltrip up to 12th. Scott Riggs, the yellow car, to 13th as Jack Sprague drifts back in the field a bit. Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, early on this morning I was talking to Harold Holley, and he was talking about how great a young driver Scott Riggs is. But the one thing that really kind of got him yesterday was he had to call timeout for his driver. If you can imagine, during practice, he actually had to have Scott come down on pit road and think about it because he was so aggressive and so much up on the wheel, he was afraid he was going to get himself in big trouble. And give him time to think about how to get around this racetrack and not wreck.
We were watching that, by the way.
Yes.
Larry and I and Mike were. And, I mean, that kid was out there. It was like he was passing everything in sight, and it didn't matter where or how he caught him. He'd just go right around him, inside, outside, and he was making some great moves, but it was just practice.
So the crew chief put him in timeout. I mean, I do that with my 2.5-year-old, but
sometimes you have to do it with these 20 and 30-year-olds.
Yeah,
but again,
right.
Harold Holley is the crew chief of the 10 car, and it's amazing to me how they have kept him in the Busch Grand National Series. You have to believe there's some Winston Cup teams that will be interested in Harold Holley as the crew chief.
Yeah. A look from the core cam, and you see Jack Sprague continuing to drift back in the field a bit. Sprague was strong in practice, qualified well, but here we are in the midst of a long run.
Well, I think when you come from any other series, whether you come from trucks into Busch or from Busch into Cup, you've got to learn what these cars are going to do over the long haul. And I'm sure that's what he's working on right now. He had no idea my car was going to do whatever it's doing today.
Good. You're the best thing out there right now. You're a bull away from that 57.
We'll show you the gap here. It's now 2 seconds from Jeff Green, who led 121 of the 197 laps here last November, but finished 8th, to this man, his former teammate Jason Keller, who is second. Jeannie?
And Mike, you guys are talking about the long haul here. The longer, the better, says Jason Keller, one man who's not looking forward to coming in. He says the longer we're out here, the better this car is running, and he does have a good feel for this track. Remember, he has 5 straight top 10 finishes. Dick?
Well, Randy LaJoie started in the 16th spot this afternoon. He is now running in 7th position. This morning, his crew chief, Wally Rogers, told us that it is a very good car off both ends of the racetrack. That's where you want to be fast here, coming off the corner. But it also runs the bottom well. It has good balance. And just a few moments ago, Randy LaJoie radioed the simple words, good car. Watch that number 7 this afternoon.
And remember, that car is owned by Joe Nemechek. That's one of Nemechek's Busch cars, and Randy drives for him. Randy's kind of got himself pumped up for this year. He looks good, and he's in great shape. Just don't look back. Just don't look back, Randy, because that's what you'll see.
A little further back, 16 Chad Chaffin, 40 Brian Vickers battling with 46 Ashton Lewis. And that's back at 14th position.
And, you know, we bragged on Ashton Lewis last year time and time again about how well he run with no sponsor. This year he's got the Civil Air Patrol, and hopefully he'll see great things out of that team as the year goes on.
Now, Ashton Lewis right out front of this group in the 46 car, he was one of the cars that pitted back on that last caution, so he has the benefit of those fresher tires. But I want to set the strategy up right here. We're at 70 laps. These guys, they're wanting to make adjustments. They're wanting 4 tires. But what happens here, it's a little bit of monkey see, monkey do. If they qualified in the high 23 seconds, low 24s, they're running in the mid 26 seconds. That shows you how much they've slowed down. But what happens if one of those leaders hits pit road, you can't be much further behind him till you come to pit road.
No, but you got to be really careful, because if one of those fast guys stays out and the caution comes out, you're 2 laps down.
Did Scott Riggs rush the wall? He's dropped back quite a bit and slowed quite a bit.
The handling has definitely went way up.
I think the car's just not handling as good as it was early on.
72 laps this time. 72 this time by. Hey, brother. All rhythm now. You the man.
I think that's Harold Holley. That's what he always told Jeff Green.
You the man.
You the man.
Riggs now back at 14th.
Right now is when you're, again, asking that crew chief, how much longer are you going to leave me out here?
That's what I say. Just a few more laps, buddy.
That's right. Don't look at the scoreboard.
You'd rather not stop under the green flag because of all the time you lose on the racetrack, but you don't want to be the yellow flag that brings everybody else in. Jeff Green has led every lap today. In a Chevy, not a Ford.
And
like
they said
last year.
Scott Riggs a while ago, they're even confused, too. It's still hard not put Jeff Green in that 10 car.
That's right.
But yeah, if you do short pit, and what short pit means is pitting before it's a fuel window. If you do short pit and you go out there on those fresh tires and you don't get burnt by a caution, you can look like a hero. But if you do, you will be a
dummy.
Zero.
Or zero.
Pit stops anytime. A lot of activity on pit road. Crewmen up on the wall, waiting for their cars to come in.
That's just what I never thought about zero. I always thought about Hammond, and you know.
Well, I thought that was dumb.
It is. I'm glad he can't hear everything we say.
While we're waiting for pit stops, let's bring back one of our favorite features of Fox from last season.
I got my volume turned up.
All right. So if you have surround sound, folks, why don't you crank it up for a couple of laps? Let's pick up the battle at 5th place. Jimmy Spencer trying to hold back Randy LaJoie.
Meanwhile, looking out at Johnny Sauter here in a 2-car, he's caught these 2 cars.
And see how you can list that engine and tell how early he let off the throttle and how long he stays out of the throttle before he can ever get it back wide open right there. He's all the way up on the straightaway before he can ever get back wide open. Way out the throttle. Coast, 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 coast. Ease back in the throttle.
Darryl, you talk about pressure on Scott Riggs. How about Johnny Sauter in a 2-car? This is the reigning Busch Grand National Championship team that Kevin Harvick drove for last year.
Well, here's Matt Kenseth. He's already been in once for tires. He's in for right sides as the 66 of Casey Mears also comes down pit lane. So we'll see the leaders before too long.
That tire thing, I mean, when you've got an ill-handling car, the only thing you can do is come in and get tires. Staying out there, you feel like you're going to get run over by everybody out there. You're so slow.
And we talked about the teams being able to change 3 sets of tires. That's under caution. Anything they put in under green does not count.
Matt Kenseth has taken his car to the garage.
Yeah, he's just tired of fooling with that thing.
Well, we have got a battle here. Jimmy Spencer, Randy LaJoie, and Johnny Sauter in that 2-car.
If Johnny got tired of staying out of that throttle so long, DW.
Well, maybe he's got a TV in there. I'm staying out of that throttle way too long.
They are now 5th, 6th, and 7th.
The beauty part of it is, Mike, is when you got a car that they say, look, you need to step it up a notch, and you can do it. That's when you got a driver's car. It's when you're happy. But when they tell you to step it up, and you say, hey, man, I'm doing all I can do. Leave me alone.
And you see Larry Ford in the 14 car. He was another one of the cars back on lap 24 that was in for fresh tires. He's just able to drive away from these guys with those fresher tires. Look at Spencer in the 1 car, how loose you get up off turn 2.
Oh, yeah.
He's run out of racetrack.
That early pit stop will really pay off for some of these guys, particularly if all these other cats have to pit up under green and a caution would come out. Changes everything.
There's Ashton Lewis in the 46 car. We mentioned earlier, fresher tires. What a difference it makes.
And here's the problem. You got new tires. Other guys got old tires. You're 3 seconds faster than that guy is, and you run up on him. It's like running into somebody in the hallway. I don't know which way to go.
Well, you're aggravated. Your car's not driving good. It's sliding around. Here comes some guy with fresh tires up there and beats on you.
Wants you to get out of the way, and you barely can hold it on the racetrack.
And you're saying, how many more laps?
Yeah. You're going to get me killed out here. I got to come in.
5th, 6th, and 7th place. Sauter, Lewis, and Spencer climbs the hill in front of LaJoie.
And that crew chief says,
not much longer. Just a few more laps.
I can't hear you.
Just hang in there.
Yeah.
Well, the crew is ready for Jimmy Spencer.
And trust me, when one of those leaders comes now, the rest of them will come right with him, if not the next lap.
Spencer could not get into the pit. Not that time.
See, you start trying to make pit stops, and you get run over from behind. I'll tell you, when the tires go off like they do at this point in the race,
you wave up.
It's a nightmare.
Spencer's coming in. And not a lap too soon, it appears.
Here he comes. He's going to drop it down off the banking, down into the pit lane here.
4,000 second gear. 4,000 second gear.
4,000 second gear.
Be sure to put the nose on the sign. Nose to the sign.
They called this pit stop 5 laps ago. This is absolutely planned. Ben Holm is on the rear tires. Wayne Canner's got an adjustment wrench in the back end, which will change the track bar of the race car. They're also going to make some tire pressure adjustments in the car. Front tires, Matt Hunter. He's a quick one. Out back, Ben Holm changing tires for this team for the first time this year, replacing crew chief Johnny Allen. 15-1 for Jimmy Spencer. Good stop.
I noticed they raised the track bar one round. That's about a 1/4 inch in the track bar. That raises the rear roll center. That tells me Jimmy's car was a little bit tight, pushing. The front end wouldn't bite. Raise that track bar, free it up.
Jack Sprague is in. Steve Burns waiting on him.
And Dennis Conner's crew, this is the entire crew that worked with him when they won 3 Truck Series championships. Sprague hits the marks. They're going to go 2 rounds down to the right rear corner of the race car. Right side tires going on. Lots of rubber and brake dust falling from the tires. Now left side tires going on. Chassis adjustments already been made. Let's go to Judy Zelasco.
The 57 car up, Jason Keller on his way in. The car is running great, except it's a little tight in and loose off. So that means the guys with the tires will go to work. The front tire changer, Ricky Turner. The rear tire changer, Scott Ray, getting ready. Of course, you got your carriers, Bob Doyle and David Goulet, ready to do some damage. They did make an air pressure adjustment in all 4 tires. The hope is that the car will continue to run as well as it has been.
And that is the hope. I mean, when you change tires and change the car a little bit, most of the time you plan on making it better, but occasionally you go the wrong way up under green when you're in such a hurry.
All right, pit stops continue. Josh Richardson is in, Chad Chaffin is in, and Scott Wimmer. These are all green flag pit stops, and they are in sequence. There is your leader, Jeff Green, who has led every one of the 90 laps so far. But here's the biggest mover of the day.
Here we come, 4,300, second gear, 4,300.
That's race leader, Jeff Green.
He starts right there, 4,300.
Leader following a group of cars going out of the pit.
Trouble down here.
You watch these 2 cars on your left here.
Scott Wimmer in the 23, Scott Riggs in the 10.
Steve?
Greg Biffle in the number 60. They're going to lower the track bar 3 turns. They talked about making a spring rubber adjustment. Jeff Green in the 21, also to the attention of his team. No chassis adjustments on the 21 with the exception of air pressure. Left side tires on for the 60. For the right front tire changer, the front tire changer slipped from the 21. Left side tires going in trouble on the front stretch.
The 32, Dan Pardis, has spun on the front
I don't think they're going to throw the caution. I think they're aware of everybody making green flag stops. He's out of harm's way. I say let him go green. This is no time to throw a caution because it's going to mess up everybody.
Well, it was a quick spin out of harm's way and back on the track. Here's your new leader, the driver who has gained the most positions today. Jamie McMurray, under green, raced from his 21st starting spot up to 4th and now takes over the lead on pit stops.
But let's document how he did it. Remember, he was on pit road on that last caution in lap 24. Had those 4 fresh tires put on right then, makes such a difference. But now, even though he's leading the race, he can't sit out there and run that long on those tires. He's going to give up way too much ground.
No, he needs to come on back in right now. He's got what he needs. He got caught up. He's leading the race. Come on in, get the tires, be even with everybody.
94 laps complete. Jamie McMurray is the leader. Look at the top right of your screen, and you see Dan Pardis go for that harmless spin down to the grass. He gets going again right away. No caution. NASCAR on Fox stays green.
Busch 200 200, presented by Subway on Fox, is brought to you by Xbox. The future of video games has arrived. By Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. By the United States Marine Corps. The change is forever. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts, when the right way is the only way.
As Darrell had suggested, Jamie McMurray did come to the pits for a set of fresh tires, so he's given up the lead to Andy Houston and Andy Kirby, who pitted earlier. Jason Keller, when the pit stop cycle fixes up, should be our leader. NASCAR on Fox continues. Andy Kirby has crashed, putting us under caution. We'll show you that in a minute, but right now we have yellow flag pit stops.
Yeah, we had... This is pretty exciting right back here on this back straightaway. What's it? 77 car. Once we get out of the pits here.
Scott Riggs comes out. A little bit of a ding on the left front corner. And the grill pushed in.
Yeah, I think that we'll see probably why that looks that way. We're coming off of turn 2 down here now. The 60 car comes off. Watch this. He bumps the wall. Bam. But watch this 77 car. Bam. Up on the wall he goes. Thing almost turned over. Comes down here. Gets up into it again. And then spins around.
But this will show it a lot better right here. You're going to see Biffle in the 60 up against the wall. Andy Kirby backs off. Scott Riggs in the yellow 10 gets into the back of him, catapults him into the outside wall.
Man, he hit that thing hard twice. And I looked up and all I saw was the roof, 77.
From Hank Parker Jr.
God. And that thing almost turned over. Watch this thing. It almost turns over. Gosh.
He hit that wall hard 2 or 3 times.
3 times.
So caution is out for Andy Kirby. NASCAR on Fox continues after this.
The Busch 200, presented by Subway on Fox, is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
Fox welcomes you back. You're watching the Busch Series race, our 3rd caution flag here in Rockingham, North Carolina, with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, and you at the Hollywood Hotel, and joined by, well, the NFL season is over. He's a Busch car owner, Terry Bradshaw.
You can't get rid of
me. We've tried, no matter what.
Tell the truth. You came in from the cold. That's the only reason you come up here.
You wanted to stay warm.
No, actually, I came in. I wanted to. We crashed at Daytona, and I had not seen our crew work the pit. I wanted to stay there.
Keep an eye on him.
Did that, yeah.
Kerry Earnhardt, he started 36th. I think he's 30th, and there's a look at you. What's it like being a car owner?
It's pretty neat. It's real neat, actually. It's but it's nerve-wracking because you're used to, you know, I like to be a little more aggressive, and we can't. Kerry's first time to run on this track and the Busch Series is first, so we've got a rookie, and we've got to be patient, and I'm not a very patient guy, but it's working out pretty good. Right now, he's just kind of staying in there, but we can go faster.
I want you to tell him one thing. You told me this morning you were standing over about turn 3, and a guy crashed yesterday.
Did he run for cover?
I almost tingled in my britches.
We could translate that, but that's Bradshaw.
I think they understood that.
Yes, I know.
Don't worry about it. There's a guy up yonder in the booth that'll take care of it. His name's Walter.
Yeah. Part of a Fitz Bradshaw Racing in the 1010 220 Supercuts car. Boy, hang around for a moment. We'll get a few more comments.
I am just to warm up.
From car owner Terry Bradshaw. Let's go to Dick Berggren with this American Plastics fact. Dick?
We've got plastic all over the pit. I'll tell you what, Chris. Here's Randy LaJoie's toolbox, or at least one of them is plastic. Look inside. About half the stuff in here is plastic, including the pens that they use, the tape measure that they use, the tire pressure gauge they use, even the tape they use to put their fingers back together when they have problems. The Genie.
One man's pain is another man's opportunity, and opportunity came knocking with a caution flag. Sure, he had just 14 laps on the Goodyears, but Jason Keller said, what the heck, give me 4 more. And now he's turned his attention to bigger issues. Tell me who's in front of me so I can get ahead. Matt?
Genie Mike McLaughlin said this car is really good on the bottom, in the middle, and up high, but a little loose off turn 2. So on his first stop, they made an air pressure adjustment on the right rear. And then when the caution came out, he came back again for 4 more tires. They made a track bar adjustment. He will restart from the 9th position. To Steve.
Well, Matt, Jeff Green came in again as well, just 11 laps after getting tires. Crew Chief Butch Hill They may go all the way. Jack Sprague in the 24, he could go all the way if he had to. Let's go to Chris Meyer.
Yeah, I know.
All right, thank you very much, Steve Burns. There is Jeff Green, who has moved to the front and held on here. We're under our third caution. You're watching Busch Racing Live on Fox, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back live, Rockingham, North Carolina, the old-style leaderboard as you get a look at this Busch race. And Terry Bradshaw, the owner of the car that Kerry Earnhardt is driving. Being an NFL owner, obviously never had the chance to do that. But how would you relate being an owner like that? And you talked about the frustration of necessarily being hands-on. You have to kind of watch. And where's your input?
Yeah, well, my input right now is to make sure that Kerry doesn't get frustrated, and I want to keep his confidence high, because he is going to get frustrated. Having never driven the Busch Series and run some of these short tracks where the corners you have to, you know, work it. It's very difficult, and it's all about a rookie year. And I've related my experiences my rookie year as a pro. And I told him about all the interceptions. So I said, well, be patient. We don't go flying up to the front and crash this thing. Just get the experience, and that's what we're going to give him all year long.
All right, and we are going green. So let's get back up to Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds. And Terry will hang around with us and watch some laps from up here. Right?
Got it.
Okay.
Well, this will be a difficult restart because several cars are on the tail end of the lead lap, starting in front of the race leader. 33, Tony Raines. 37, Jeff Purvis. The 26 is up there as well, Lyndon Amick. And the 98 of Casey Kane.
And when you're at the tail end of the lead lap, it's your choice whether you want the inside line or the outside line. Johnny Sauter in the 2-car, he's actually leading the race, but he's one of the few leaders that elected not to pit. He only had 10 laps on his tires, but 10 laps at Rockingham, a long way on tires.
Yeah.
You'll pay for that.
113 laps complete in the 1866 RBC Term.com 200, presented by RBC Insurance.
That's a pay me now or pay me later, right? 10 laps on these tires. Guys are doing a really good job of staying off each other, I think, considering the differences in the...
Whoa, turned around.
Christian Elder, I believe that was in the 38 car. Whoa!
Caution is out.
And these guys up front here are going to get those laps back. Several guys will get laps back.
Tony Raines in the 33 gets his lap back.
Casey Kane
in the 98.
The 60, Greg Biffle. The 10, Scott Riggs. The 26, Lyndon Amick. All got past the leader. And Christian Elder will be headed for the garage. Here's what happened.
Up off turn 2 here. Gets into the back of the black car. When he bounces back off the wall, he comes back into Christian Elder in the 38, sends him into the inside wall.
Yeah, that could have been a whole lot worse. Bunch of cars right there just about ready to wad up.
Here's another look. That's Scott Wimmer in the 23, just ahead.
Comes Elder. The cars, that 23 is Wimmer's headed for the wall. Elder just gets hit from behind by Jack Sprague.
And amazing how Jack Sprague in the 24 car was not involved in it any worse than he was.
He was involved. He's not badly involved.
Elder limping to the garage as cars come onto pit road. We'll have one more look at it here.
That's just one of those deals where somebody gets up in the fence, they lift up out of the throttle, and somebody's going to have to pay for that.
Dick Berggren.
Now Tony Raines gets his lap back. He's on his way into the pits to get 4 fresh tires on that automobile. This is a rebirth. He's got a shot at this race now that he's done that. Crew over the wall, all wearing big helmets. A lot of the guys today are wearing very small helmets, but these guys are all with the big ones. This is Steve.
Well, did Greg Biffle have problems earlier? He scraped the wall. They got down a lap, so they're gonna go ahead and change 4 tires. No chassis adjustments. Biffle a lap down, hit back on the racetrack. They may not have got all the lug nuts tight on the left rear.
Well, a new lease on life for those two. As the caution comes out while they are ahead of the race leader.
I think that inspector was pointing at something.
Might have been a left rear.
We'll find out when we come back. Scott Wimmer gets loose. That holds up Christian Elder, who ends up getting turned and into the inside wall. NASCAR on Fox rolls on.
Just once I want these guys at Subway to talk to me about something.
Just restarted after this caution flag. Johnny Sauter out front, the 37, second car in line. That's Jeff Purvis, who is a lap down. And Ashton Lewis is second place, battling Jason Keller side by side.
Jason Keller with those fresh tires just drives right to the outside of Ashton Lewis, takes that second spot.
Early leader Jeff Green, 21, mired in traffic.
Oh, yeah, and he's got his hands full. I mean, he got a car as fast as his, led the race as long as he has, and now he's all messed up back here with these lap cars, and I'm sure he's looking for a place to go.
We want to document that Greg Biffle, we did get a report from Steve Burns that all the lug nuts on the left rear were tight, so he did not have to come back to pit road.
Biffle shown as 14th. If you want your NASCAR experience to last all week, make sure your cable system carries the new Speed Channel, home of NASCAR TV. The old Speed Vision, reborn as Speed Channel, the home of NASCAR TV. Call your local cable operator or satellite provider for Speed Channel. Fill your need for speed.
I need my speed. Oh, they're getting mighty bunched up.
On and off that throttle, Darrell, feathering it in.
Yeah, just trying to hook up those rear tires.
It's one of the places where you drive the car as much with the throttle pedal as you do the steering wheel.
You got that right. And you wish you could get it wide open. You never can, except just a little while on the straightaway. The rest of the time, you're just kind of feathering it.
Here's the difference between 10-lap fresher tires right here. Jason Keller in that 57 all over the back of Johnny Sauter in that 2 car.
Look at old Spence. He's right there, too. He's made those adjustments. He's been working on that car. I believe he's got her dialed in, boys.
Jimmy Spencer, who led and was a contender to win at Daytona 1 week ago.
He and Bench in that crowd, they just all get along really well, communicate well. Oh, trouble on the back. Got a car up on the wall again.
Shane Meal.
Big time.
Everybody locks up behind him. And they...
Oh, man.
All get through.
Oh.
Hard to believe. They all got through.
They were not sure where he was going to end up.
And it wasn't like he had any control over that car.
Absolutely not.
He just along for the ride once all that happened.
The 21-year-old from Conover, North Carolina. There's his dad, Steve, looking on from the spotter stand up on the roof. And Shane, who crashed on his second lap of qualifying and had to go to this backup car, is going to be done for the day.
All kinds of moving around in there. That's a good indication. Everything's good. Just can't say that for the race car.
Looks like. The kill, Steve. You could probably pull the fenders off and run a little bit. I don't know. It's got in the air pretty good. Killed.
It's killed.
And it came down pretty hard.
Yeah, trust me, Steve, it's killed. He can't see the right side of the car.
Underneath the 66, and either we came up or 66 came down.
Okay, Johnny Sauter in the 2 car, remember, he did not pit that lost caution. He saw the disadvantage of those tires, so he's on pit road, Matt Yoakum.
And Larry, he talked to his crew chief, Ricky Vyers, about the fact that this 2 car is a little bit tight. They were talking about making a chassis adjustment. They waved that off. This will be a 4-tire change, though. Remember, like you mentioned, he had about 10 extra laps on his set of tires than the other competition. They'd warned him right before that caution that the 2 cars right behind him had fresh tires, so be careful. A little bit of trouble on the left rear, and the Blue Deuce pulls away.
See if we can see what happened over here on the back. Again, this car gets up on the wall and almost, man, they seem like they're going to turn over. Watch them come off of 2 here. 66 got forced up, look like, by the 47. Buddy, bam, the thing hit that hard.
Hits it twice.
Now he comes down the track and then slides up.
Yeah, and watch, I mean, right at the end, a couple of cars just barely squeezed through.
Down the track.
All right, now watch. Here he comes back right
up the track.
Oh, my goodness. That'll make you draw up.
From Kenny Wallace.
See how high that 47 came off the ground?
And Shane is okay.
Now, I was looking at Kenny Wallace's car. Shane Mill is Kenny Wallace's teammate.
So he is out of the race. Jason Keller is our leader. We are working caution. This is NASCAR on Fox. Shane Meals' fault. Watch the black 66 on the outside.
Hey, watch this black car right in, see him right in there. He got up on the wall, and when he bounced off, he got into 47. Man, that thing almost went over. And he goes back and hits it hard again. Now, this is where it really gets exciting. Here comes some other guys. They say, okay, he's going down. Go high, go high. Spotter's saying, go high, go high. Whoop, go low.
Look at Kerry Ernst, 12 car.
Green flag. Here we go. Let's go racing.
129 of 197 laps complete as we go back to green. Jason Keller is in command. Jimmy Spencer in that orange number 1 working around a couple of lap cars to try and get to Keller.
Got to kind of tiptoe through that first turn. You've been riding around on those hot tires, pick up all that debris. Got to get all that stuff cleaned off before you can really gas it up and go.
Spencer is there.
I tell you, I believe that 57 car is going to be hard to beat. Oh, trouble. Getting them all wadded up again. One caution leads to another caution, leads to another caution.
It's a battle for third. Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46, Randy LaJoie in the 7.
And right behind them, Jamie McMurray and Jeff Green, the man who led the whole first half of this race.
Larry, you got to admit, McMurray, you know, that pit stop he made early and then coming in when he did, and look at him. He made all that time up, and he's right up there in the top 5.
It has paid off for him and put him right in position.
Well, there's some, right there. There's some contenders back in the field here, but the problem they got is are they going to have enough time to chase down the leader?
This is 5th place on back.
Greg Biffle in the 60 car right there. Now, he's up to 8th position. Remember, it wasn't but a few laps ago. He was a lap down, made his lap up, 4 fresh tires. Now he's back in the top 10.
There's one thing I know about him. He is tenacious. He'll latch on to you, and he won't let go.
And I'm sure they made adjustments on that race car that's made it a bunch better.
Yeah, he and Randy Goss are really, really good at. I saw him do it in the trucks a lot, and they're really, really good on the Busch cars too, at making the right calls and right adjustments.
Kenny Wallace underneath Hank Parker Jr. They were 3 wide coming off turn 4. And Parker gets turned.
Here we go.
Straightens it out. Somebody got in the back of Hank Jr. right behind Wallace.
Well, they just come off for 2 over there, and then they take off out and almost hit the wall. They got to lift out of the throttle or hit the wall, and they get hit from behind. Sometime they wreck, sometime they don't.
One thing I want to notice, Hank Parker Jr. in the 36 car. Now, this year, we had Dodges return to Winston Cup. Last year, now we have 3 Dodges in the Busch Grand National Series. Hank Parker Jr., his teammate Casey Mears, and Casey Kane in the 98 car who had made his way back in the top 10. He's on pit road.
Riding with Parker, Jack Sprague just ahead. The 24, the 12th place car. Parker is make that 1 lap down, Parker. Here's another look at it. Tony Raines, 33.
Whoa.
Nice save.
Got it out. He got in the back of him.
And what happens, Darrell, you're down there at the bottom of the racetrack. Nobody's racing down there. Your tires, as we talked earlier, picks up all of that trash.
Yeah, when you got to get out of the way here, move over, or you get down on that inside, especially down the back straightaway, you can't believe the amount of garbage your tires pick up.
We got time for me.
Shane Meal out of the race. Dick Bergeron with him.
He has just watched a replay of his accident in the medical center, too. And what happened?
I don't know. Me and Casey have been racing awfully hard all day, and neither one obviously wanted to give any room there. I don't know what happened. I haven't seen the start of it. I just saw the aftermath and getting up on the wall. I don't know. I don't know who to put blame to. I don't know if it was my fault or Casey's fault, but we've been racing all day. He hadn't given me any room, so I don't know. We got a lot more races. I just feel bad for the Thomas Coney Classics team. We started this weekend off good, qualifying second, and I messed up and crashed. Got stuck back there running with people that my car was way faster than, and it was just my fault, I guess. I don't know. We'll be back next week.
He's okay. That is the most important part of this whole story.
Well, there you see the left side of Casey Mears' car with all the damage from that crash.
If I had to write that one up, I'd have to give out a no fault, because the 66 got into the wall. When he bounced off, he got into the side of Shane. So, you know, I guess you can blame the 66 if you like, but pretty much rocking him, if you ask me.
Is Jeff Green the fellow who dominated the first half of this race, and now in 7th place. Is that 21 backing up?
Larry, how many times have you seen this? A guy out front, the car is perfect. Put him in traffic, picks up that dreaded arrow push, car doesn't handle good in traffic, can't get back to the front.
Well, I think a lot of times that happens there. A lot of times you'll still want to make your car a little better, and you'll make that adjustment. That next set of tires maybe won't be exactly like that last set of tires, and you'll jump the fence on your adjustment.
Well, could this have had something to do with it?
Watch this. Again, coming up. I don't even think they touched.
That's just a little rubbing.
That was the 60 car. Just wanting the 21 car to maybe I can scare him to let me in.
Jason Keller's our leader. Last year he finished 4th. The year before that 10th. Before that 3rd, 4th, 8th. He's not finished out of the top 10 here the last 5 years.
No, I think he's got a good run today too, boys.
But I talked to Jason Keller yesterday, and he was all smiles. He says, guys, I've never came from Daytona feeling good about my start. I never had a top 5 finish. He finished 4th there, so he felt good finally having a good start to a Busch Grand National season coming to Rockingham.
Let's find out if there's a problem on Jeff Green's car. Steve?
Mike with Butch Hilton, the crew chief. Butch, are you guys okay? What are you telling Jeff?
Yeah, we're just a little tight right now. We're working hard to try to get another stop here. I hope we get another caution and get some tires under Rockwell Automation Chevrolet.
Let's go to Matt.
Steve, Johnny Sauter pitted under that caution, took out 4 tires. He was mired back in traffic, but that's not his problem. A few laps ago, he came on the radio and said the car is tight, tight, tight. Owner Richard Childress chimed in and said, Johnny, you have some damage to your left front fender. That's why the car is getting tighter. To Jeannie.
Well, the 57 car just seems to be getting better and better. Right now, they just keep telling Jason Keller of the radio, you the man. So I guess we've taken that from Jeff Green and given that to Jason Keller. It's all about the rhythm right now. They just keep reminding him, keep the rhythm. Dick?
Jimmy Spencer and his crew really seriously contemplated coming in here at the last caution flag. They'd like to free the car up a little bit coming off the corners. Jimmy Spencer today is making the calls. He is telling the crew exactly what he wants to have done to that race car. So far, so good. He is running in second, a contender to win.
Spencer's 2 seconds off the lead and holding that margin.
And I believe Jason Keller is the man this year. Jeff Green was the A driver on that team up until he left and went Winston Cup racing. Now, I believe that Keller would be the A driver now.
Darrell is getting a little, I don't have a good adverb for this. It's getting a little bangy up back here.
And remember, these two guys were doing this exact thing in the Truck Series last year. Scott Riggs in the 10, Jack Sprague in the 24. A little payback right there.
It's a little truck racing. That's why they race trucks. Trying to knock each other's tailgate off, but they ain't got one.
Here's another look. Now, this is earlier in today's race. This may not go all the way back to the Truck Series.
Bam.
Boom.
Excuse me.
And here a couple of laps later.
All happened within about a half a lap.
The bumper's already loose. He's just trying to knock it on off.
I want to get it back while it's fresh on my mind.
That's right. Just so you don't think I forgot. Atta boy.
Now.
You live by the bump, you die by the bump.
Scott Riggs 11th right there. Sprague. They're battling 11th and 12th. And they are 10 seconds behind this man, Jason Keller.
Jason Keller has, shall we say, checked out on Jimmy Spencer and the others.
Keller, Spencer, LaJoie, Lewis, and Biffle. Your front 5, Jamie McMurray, Mike McLaughlin, Jeff Green, Tony Raines. This is NASCAR on Fox.
You go to the races. You watch them on TV. Still got the itch for more?
Jason Keller has on today Hank Parker Jr.
I don't know, but if I was going to start driving again, I'm going to get me a Hank Parker Jr. t-shirt.
There's a look at Hank, who is in 23rd position.
Beat my luck, I'd end up fishing, probably.
Down the front straightaway. Let's have a look at our Subway race summary. 5 leaders, 5 lead changes, average speed 142 miles an hour. 16 cars are on the lead lap. We've had 5 yellow flags for a total of 29 laps. 41 laps to go.
Now we got Ashton Lewis Jr. We hadn't said much about that young man, but last year he had some great runs He's right up there in 4th place.
But look, lurking back there in 5th place. Greg Biffle in a 60 car. He's in 5th right now. I go back not that many laps ago. He was a lap down. He's made it up. Now he's in 5th.
You know, a lap ago, Jimmy Spencer really climbed the hill in turn 2 and gave up about another half a second to race leader Jason Keller.
You know, Darrell, I think it's typical Rockingham. We heard in a lot of our pit reports a while ago from, you know, Biffle, Jeff Green, pushing tight. The front end's not turning. That's characteristic of Rockingham, especially in these cooler, overcast temperature conditions, is the more rubber gets on the racetrack, the less the front will grip, and you'll just push more and more and more. That's the reason even when your car's good, you still got to make those subtle adjustments.
And it's almost not even, you can call it a push. It's a slide. You got the wheels turned, you're trying to put the power down, and the front end won't grip.
Well, a push to me here is the front slide more than the rear.
That's it. You got it.
For more on Greg Biffle, here's Steve.
Well, Larry, you mentioned a little while ago that Biffle was patient when he got his lap back. They had pitted. They put on 4 tires. When he restarted, he was in 15th position. Now he's moved up into the top 5. Crew Chief Randy Goss telling him you're running as fast as the leaders, and he's just been picking them off one at a time.
Yeah, he just jumped up to 4th. He just got by Lewis there. And he did it with authority, I might add.
Yeah, I think the problem he's going to have is he's almost 6 seconds behind Jason Keller with only 37 laps to go, and he's got Spencer and LaJoie in between him. That could be trouble.
I wouldn't want to have passed either one of those guys.
And there they are working on each other. 7 is LaJoie, 1 is Spencer.
But I got to say one thing about Biffle. He is not intimidated by anybody. He'll stick it in there with them, I guarantee you.
LaJoie trying the high side. That's the long way around.
Well, it looks like it's helping him, though. It looks like he's picked up a little speed, particularly on exit. He closed up a little bit on Spencer that time, and here he goes up to the outside. LaJoie's car looks awfully racy right now.
Dick, what about Randy LaJoie?
Randy LaJoie has been racing all day, Mike. As a matter of fact, he has said on the radio a couple of times that he is simply exercising patience. He is one of the most veteran drivers, 185 consecutive starts in this series today, and he has just plain been cooling it. He's not going to cool it much longer, however, as we get close to the end. In the pit stops he's taken today, the only change to that car, 1/2 pound of air in 1 tire. He's got a great car. And there's a piece of debris on the middle of the front straightaway.
He's got a great car, but so does that cat in that 60 car, because he's caught Spencer and LaJoie, and he knows too. He's got to get on the. He's on the move and got to keep going. He can't hold. He can't linger very long there. He'll never catch the leader.
And they've been speaking the truth to Greg Biffle. I looked at before he caught these 2 guys right here, Spencer and LaJoie. He was running 2570s. Keller was running 2580s. Here's the debris on the front straightaway. Now, the only person that don't want to see that debris is Jason Keller out there with a 5-second lead. They're asking, Jason, you see any debris? Absolutely not.
Nowhere. Yeah, because it really puts you in a bind now. Do you stay out?
Yeah, it's not debris. It may appear that from pit road. There's the debris.
There's the debris right there.
And that's up out of the groove. I'd have a hard time. I just don't see where that would require a caution.
On the front straightaway, that was the lane stripe, and it looked like a piece of debris. Darrell, how long ago was it that we had drivers painting pieces of roll bar padding different colors, and they'd find their way out the car when somebody needed a caution?
Me and Earnhardt were racing right here about 10 years ago. We both had a set of tires in the pit that we needed to put on the car, but we didn't want to pit under green. Earnhardt threw out the first piece of roll bar pad, hit my windshield, and I started complaining. They didn't do anything. I threw out a water bottle. Before you know it, everybody was throwing out things out of their car. Pretty soon we got the caution, but it was too late.
But now that piece of tape on the front stretch, now Randy LaJoie, Greg Biffle, Jimmy Spencer, they're going to try to convince NASCAR that's debris.
Jeff Green continues to struggle on this setup. He and Jack Sprague are side by side for 10th.
And after that happened, by the way, the inspectors the next week went around and pulled on everything in everybody's car to see if it come loose or not.
You know, looking at Jack Sprague in the 24 car, we heard Steve Burns talk about, and I like that concept. His whole truck team moved with him, this Busch Grand National team.
Conner, yeah.
He mentioned Dennis Conner. Dennis Conner was the car chief on the 25 car for Hendrick when Tim Richmond drove that car with Harry Hyde as the crew chief.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's been around a long time, and he and Jack have had a lot of success, particularly in the trucks, if they can carry it over into the Busch Series.
Now here's LaJoie and Biffle for second and third.
Those cars look pretty equally matched, LaJoie and Biffle, so I'd say that one of them will have to slip.
Jimmy Spencer's fallen back.
Boy, McMurray got loose off of 2 and got into that black car back there.
Wimmer.
Scott Wimmer in the 23.
I think Wimmer's been in about 4 wrecks back there.
Well, his car's the same color as asphalt. They don't see him
I don't think they see it. It's hard to tell who it is. I know that.
These guys getting racy now here. We're getting down to about 27 laps to go. This is where you kind of tell your driver, you know what I've been telling you about tire conservation? That's out the window
Watch
now.
these guys back here. McMurray, and there goes the 10 on the inside, and whoa. It just didn't have enough room there.
Oh, he's sideways.
Yeah,
down on the bottom, and
he got loose.
Yep.
Boy, lucky they didn't make.
And he was coming out of the corner right there. Scott Riggs on the 10 in the 10 car behind him. I don't think he got into him, but he got him loose. Took that downforce away from the rear. Rear end wants to come out from under you.
It's a good thing McMurray started on the bottom because he needed the whole width of the racetrack to straighten himself out. Biffle has passed LaJoie for second.
See how he did it. Comes off the corner here. It's a run on Randy, and Randy knows he's there. Randy wisely lets him go down in the corner, gives him room. And Mr. Biffle is up to second place and hunting for Jason Keller, and that's 2 Fords running first and second.
He's got a long way to hunt. It's 6.5 seconds up there.
And it's 26 laps to go. Let's go to the leader's pit in Genie.
I'm with the crew chief, Steve Addington, who you don't see any debris out there, do you?
No, no. It's been there for a few laps. They've been telling me that it's out there. And if they throw a caution now, something's up.
What are you telling your driver?
Just be smooth. He's got a pretty good lead right now. It's just going to be about rhythm. Jason's done a heck of a job today. So all these guys have been working hard. It's paying off right now.
Definitely paying off. The car has been awesome all day.
24 laps to go. We'll take a break and then carry you all the way to the checkered flag. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series presented by Subway on Fox.
And welcome back to live racing on Fox. You're looking at the Busch Series and the leader, Jason Keller. Tomorrow, our NASCAR coverage continuing on the Fox networks, beginning with the show that gets you ready for race day. NASCAR this morning, that's on Fox Sports Net. Then Winston Cup action for the Subway 400 on Fox, where a new champion will be crowned King of the Rock. Get the full wrap-up of all the activity on NASCAR Victory Lane. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Waltrip.
Jason Keller continues to lead Greg Biffle by 6.7 seconds. Then Randy LaJoie, and there's a new fourth-place car. Scott Riggs has blasted past Jimmy Spencer and Ashton Lewis Jr. to move up to fourth. Darrell, he's been a kite without a tail. He hasn't always been pointed straight ahead, but he's been flying.
He's got that thing beat up pretty good. The whole right side's all knocked in on it, but he keeps going forward. He is very aggressive.
And I don't think he has enough laps, but he's been faster than the leader when he's in traffic.
I mean, he is driving the wheels off that thing. He is relentless.
Lewis and Spencer now battle behind him for fifth place.
And Ashton Lewis, I mean, that's a great run for that kid. I mean, everybody said, give that kid a sponsor, give him a chance, and he'll run up front. And by golly, he's doing it. Civil Air Patrol ought to be happy.
Speeds at the stripe. Let's see if indeed Keller's teammate is faster than the leader. Not quite.
As hard as these guys are racing all back through the field here, I can't imagine there's not going to be another caution. 15 laps to go. I don't think it really matters now, though. I don't think any of the front cars will pit.
But remember what happened here last year or last fall.
Yeah.
Jeff Green leading the race handily, runs out of gas with 8 laps, finishes 8.
Yeah. Came down to restart and never went.
Spencer, number 1 on the outside. Lewis, 46, as they work past Dan Pardis. Spencer uses Pardis as a pick.
This is roughly about a half a lap behind the leader right now.
Well, I tell you, Jeff Green, for a car that was as dominant as he was early in the race, he sure did backslide. This shows you how this place will do you, though. You get a good setup early on, and halfway through the race, you can't drive it.
Green led the first half of the race and has fallen to 10th.
You know, we mentioned earlier about Robert Yates fielding a race car today with Casey Kane here, but a change that these guys made, Jason Keller in the 57, Scott Riggs in the 10 that are teammates, is they actually went to Robert Yates engines this year, so the major change there. So Robert Yates really getting in deep in Busch Grand National Racing, but Darrell, I have to believe he keeps testing the waters, not only for talent, but because of maybe this one engine rule in Winston Cup, trying to see what things look like on a full weekend with a Busch Grand National engine that can only use one engine.
Here's something that might be coming down the pipe. There's some talk about going to roller cams in Winston Cup. When Busch cars run roller cam shafts, Winston Cup runs a flat tappet camshaft. There's a possibility that in the very near future, for cost again, a roller cam will last forever. Flat tappets, they replace them every time they run an engine. There's a chance that they might go to the roller camshaft in the very near future. A little more experience here with that kind of a configuration.
Watching from Michael Waltrip, who is in 16th place, 1 lap down.
Mikey's been running good. I mean, he's been, you know, can't keep up with the 57, but he's been outrunning everybody else.
Looks like he's putting the move to Greg Biffle, who is our 2nd place car, 7 seconds behind the leader, and Biffle lets Waltrip go by without incident.
But you know what? That's a smart move on Greg Biffle. He's not going to catch Jason Keller. It's not going to happen. So do the next best thing. Let's don't use our car up to give up 3rd place to Randy LaJoie that's back there about a 2.5 seconds behind him.
And let me tell you something. 57 car is getting ready to get in some heavy traffic. And he could be held. He's being held up right now, as a matter of fact. There are 2 or 3 wide in front of him.
He has an 8-second lead with 8 laps to go. You know, he just can't give up a second a lap. He just, you know, he needs to be careful in this traffic.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's being real careful. He's got to pick his way through here.
He moves past to Brian Vickers. As we get down into the closing laps, Jeff Hammond.
Mike, I've been watching one of the more interesting battles to me is the fact that Larry Foyt, who started back in 27th right now, has put an awful lot of pressure on Jeff Green to break into the top 10 today. He's had an outstanding run, and you can see right there, he's done caught him. He's been very quick. Watching his lap times, he's been one of the first, second, or third fastest cars every lap for the last 10 laps.
And if Foyt makes that pass, as he's doing right now,
he's under him.
He could score his first career top 10 finish.
Yeah, he struggled last year for sure.
Larry Foyt was a lot like Jamie McMurray. He was one of the cars that pitted early, made those adjustments on his car, got himself back into contention, and he's been there ever since that move.
Well, and one thing about guys like him, very limited experience. They jump into the Busch Series with a lot of competition in the Busch Series, and you're not going to make a star. You're not going to be a star overnight. So last year was a learning experience for him. This year, you know, he might get those top 10 finishes.
5 to go. Jason Keller, 57. The Albertsons Ford, and the driver who took on the mantle of team leader when Jeff Green, his teammate, departed for the Winston Cup Series.
Watch it.
At an anxious moment a lap or so ago.
This is what I was talking about, all that heavy traffic. And what does he do? I mean, good grief. Leading by 8 seconds, and guys are trying to spin out in front of him. That's the good thing about having an 8-second lead, though, isn't it, Larry? You can kind of watch things like that and see what happens.
And the spotter is all over him right now, you know, counting the laps down, telling him how big of a lead he has, and be patient. Pick and choose where you go by these lap cars.
And Jamie McMurray is a 15th place car, and he's just going around him on the outside.
There. Be patient. You're the man.
You're the man.
Clear.
Let's go back to 5th place where Mike McLaughlin and Jimmy Spencer, 2 former champions of NASCAR's modified division, are side by side.
And Jack Sprague, he's in the mix too in the 24 car. This is all a battle for 5th.
And Sprague, I know, would like to have a top 5 finish, make his presence felt in this series. I think he's done an awfully good job today, to tell you the truth.
McLaughlin, though, has been smooth.
Whoa.
Oh, and Sprague gets a little
Sprague
sideways.
said, oh, I didn't. Where'd that guy come from?
2 to go. McLaughlin driving a smooth and patient race to move up now to 5th. Scott Riggs, teammate to Jason Keller, up to 4th. Keller going to put this one away. 6.2-second lead. There's his teammate, the rookie Scott Riggs. White flag.
He slowed his speed down about a half a second the last few laps.
Nothing to worry about.
1 to go, Hot Rod.
Keller not going to challenge Casey Mears ahead. Going to coast around for the win. That's McMurray down on. No, it's Michael Waltrip down on the apron going to pit road.
Almost like he ran out of fuel.
As Jason Keller becomes the 22nd different winner in 38 Busch Series races at Rockingham.
Awesome, dude. Awesome.
Good race, everybody. Good race.
Guys, hell of a job.
It's his 6th career win. His first win at Rockingham. His 3rd win on a 1-mile track.
Awesome job, buddy. Awesome job.
Jason, they want you down to Victory Lane as soon as possible. It must be short on our time, okay?
Jeannie?
Well, with the winning crew chief, I know that Jason has had success here, but this car was dialed in really from the get-go.
Oh, man, these guys have worked their heart out. How about that beam? Hey, babe, I love you. Man, this is great.
And how about the fact that now it's the Cup guys that are behind you this week instead of Daytona when you had 3 Cup guys ahead of you?
We just come in here and race our own race. To beat them guys is great because they're the best in the world. And to beat them has just been great. That Albertson Sports, Robert Yates horsepower, appreciate everything.
I'm not going to stop the emotion. Go enjoy.
Larry Foyt did get his first top 10 finish as Jason Keller gets his 6th career win and takes the Busch Series point lead. All the celebratory stuff goes on the roof of the car.
You know, a real consistent runner from last year at the end of the year particularly was Tony Raines, and he ends up in the 8th, or no, in the 9th spot there as well. So good run for that young man. Kenny Wallace is in 12th. Jeff Green, the early leader. Boy, did he fade at the end.
Let's go down to our Subway Victory Lane and Dick Berggren.
And as Jason Keller begins the exit process, it does take a while with all the stuff these guys are strapped in with, but he's on the way out of the car right now for a whoop-de-doo time. Oh, yes, the confetti flying through the air. 18 times you had been here before and never been to this place. What was the difference today?
Had a real fast forward today, you know, and man, that Robert Yates horsepower didn't hurt, I tell you what. And we've been talking a big game all winter long, and I thought my race team was better than it's ever been, and so I had to prove it. And just awesome. I told Joe last week, he asked me if I wanted a trophy, and I told him no.
Crew Chief Steve Addington in here.
Thank you, I told Joe that I didn't win a trophy last week. I'd bring one home for him this week. So, Joe, I'm going to bring the trophy home for you and Jay this week. So, awesome field. Just a great car all day long.
Last couple of years, 3rd in points, 2nd in points. You had a 4th at Daytona. Big kiss. 4th at Daytona and now a win. Is it too early to start thinking about championship, or have you already been thinking?
No, we've thought about it all winter long. You know, I really focused that our race team is a lot better than it's ever been. And I'm just driving my heart out. It's all I can do. And I was just a lucky one driving this Ford today, you know, and man, what a feeling. I've always waited till late in the year to win, and I wanted to win more races than one this year, so we're off to a good start.
So another fellow had a pretty good day today, too. His name is Scott Riggs, and Matt is with him.
And Scott Riggs, 2nd straight top 10 finish, and you told me this was a crazy place.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy place. You know, a lot of contact going on out there. I think it's just where the racetrack's so slick, everybody's slipping and sliding around. But, you know, I got to give my hats off to all the guys on the Nesquik Ford Taurus. I mean, these guys, that's number 10, they did a great job. Even we got a lap down there, they never said anything on the radio. They just said, we're going to keep on digging. We're going to get back in this ball game. And, you know, they're the ones that puts us a good team under me. Everybody did a great job spotting. Everybody did a great job working. And this is the man that makes it happen right here. Good job, brother. Everything was a rocket, brother. Man. But like I say, my hat's off to them. They're the ones that did it. I'm just the
they called me the monkey behind holding the wheel. But I tell you, I just can't give a thumbs up to them enough. They did a great job. They had a lot of faith in me and who I am. And, you know, I'm a nobody, I'm a rookie, but we're here to prove who we are.
A 6th of the Daytona, a 4th here today at the Rock to Steve Burns.
Matt with Greg Biffle. Greg, you guys had a very fast race car. You got a lap down, got it back. Tell us about your day.
Well, we had a really good day going, and then green flag pit stop. I stopped a little deep in the box. The 21 car blocked us in and got us a lap down. At just one of them deals. You know, I'll learn to stop short in the box one of these days. But the guys did a great job. Came back. I scraped the wall coming off a 2 over there, and they pulled the fenders out and put 4 tires on it, and we were able to come from the 16th a second. So pretty good job for the Granger team. And I tell you, the Ford Taurus ran really good today, and we're pretty excited with it. And congratulations to 57 team. They did a great job.
Greg Biffle does a great job fighting back, Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve. As we show you the finish, the first 6 positions and 8 of the top 10 Busch Series regulars.
And that's a big change from what we've seen in the past, and I like it. I'm glad to see that these Busch guys can hold their own against whoever comes into this series. Guys run like Jason Keller did today. I don't believe anybody can handle him, and Biffle, of course, is going to be strong again, too.
Larry, as slideways as these fellas run here, this is going to be a fun season.
Oh, I just can't wait. We go to Las Vegas next Saturday. You know, we interviewed Scott Riggs. I want to give a call to his owner, Greg Pollux. He had a big burden on his shoulders last year. I mean, let's face it. That team, Jeff Green, the 10 car, they were the Jeff Gordon of the Busch Series, and he had to find a replacement. I think he done a great job in hiring Scott Riggs.
I think he did, too. I like that.
Quite a rookie crop in the NASCAR Busch Series. Let's look at the points.
Talent. Just a lot more talent. Look at these points.
Jason Keller, Scott Riggs, teammates lead the points. Sprague, LaJoie, and Biffle, the front 5. Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Mike. 6th career win for Jason Keller, and again, his 6th straight top 10 finish here in the Busch Series at Rockingham. But your eye was caught, Jeff, by Jack Sprague, Scott Riggs, some of the guys from the Truck Series showing early success here.
Yes, I'm very impressed with the fact these guys have come with new teams, coming in the Busch ranks like they're doing right now, and putting on a very good, show. Because look here again, Scott Riggs is already winning or running 2nd in the points and only the 2nd race of the year. That is exactly what the truck division is all about, to get these guys prepared so they can come over and make the movement up, and they're doing an excellent job.
All right, at the Rock, not exactly a smooth ride. Bumping, grinding. Is it an indication of what we'll see tomorrow in the Subway 400?
I believe so, because you're looking at the type of competition that is in the Busch ranks, and they're very good. Same thing as far as the racetrack is concerned. The racetrack is very much a competitive nature tomorrow. It's going to make competition with the Winston Cup cars the same way. These guys are going to push and shove to get to the front. You got Jeff Gordon starting back here 33rd. He's trying to work his way up through this traffic. These guys are not going to be giving it very much, I think, early on, because it's a relatively short race.
Something that we'll look for tomorrow in the Subway 400. 3 of the top 4 finishers here today in the Busch race were Fords. Tomorrow, our NASCAR coverage continuing across the Fox networks, beginning with NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net. And then the Subway 400, our pre-race show, 12:30 Eastern on Fox. A new champion will be crowned King of the Rock, and the full wrap-up with an inside look at race day at Rockingham. Kenny Wallace will help on NASCAR's Victory Lane All Access presented by Stacker 2. That's on Fox Sports Net, as the Fox networks are your home for NASCAR. And you get a look at the Rock, a spontaneous reaction from the crowd as they saw Jason Keller win, someone who has had much success here before, but first time here in Victory Lane at Rockingham. For the most part today, Jeff Green led with 90 laps, but that was in the beginning. 8 cars were eliminated, including Shane Meal, who had qualified 2nd. Matt Kenseth ending his streak of 5 straight top 10 finishes at Rockingham, part of the guys who were knocked out early. We will see you tomorrow from Rockingham and the Subway 400. For all of us here, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.